The mainstream media was just caught refusing to cover a massive protest in Washington, D.C. today, despite the fact that they spent yesterday giving wall-to-wall coverage to the ever-shrinking No Kings protest. Let me play this clip for you, and it'll be really clear why the media is trying to shove this under the rug.
Thank you, Trump! Thank you, Trump! Thank you, Trump!
No, we can't thank you, Trump! My name is Shawty Gamarova. I want to thank you all for being here today.
So earlier today, tens of thousands of proud Iranian Americans gathered at the National Mall. But it wasn't just the National Mall. They actually marched through the streets of Washington, D.C., even passing by the Treasury Department. And someone actually took an 11-minute video, and I clipped some of my favorite moments from that video. And even at the end of the 11 minutes, the crowd goes on as far as the eye can see. So this is just a fraction of the crowd that was in D.C. earlier today. Take a look.
USA! USA!
Just absolutely incredible sights. And of course, the mainstream media is refusing to cover this because it goes against everything that they've been trying to push. Oh, President Trump is a racist. The only people who support him are white racists, white supremacists. Yet here you have Iranian Americans, Persians, proud of their home country, and they're saying, thank you, Trump. They're chanting USA. And just look at the actual diversity here. Here you have more American flags at a pro-Iranian, a pro-regime change rally than you had at all of the No Kings protests yesterday. Doesn't that say something? Just think about it. The No Kings protests are supposedly about protecting democracy, protecting the United States of America, protecting our republic, yet we saw more American flags today at this one pro-Iranian regime change rally than we did at all of the No Kings protests yesterday combined. And by the way, there were over 3,000 of those protests. And on top of that, here we have, again, actual diversity. You had American flags, Iranian flags, the real Iranian flag at that, as well as Israeli flags. Everyone is coexisting, everyone was peaceful, and I don't know about you, but to me, everyone here was actually happy, joyful. There was a spirit of, just the vibes. We talked about how 24 was a vibes-based election. Here, the vibes are a lot more positive, a lot more energetic compared to the hateful and the negative and just the dreary No Kings protests. Now, I know a lot of people out there are going to be saying, well, Daniel, did that actually happen in Washington, D.C. today? Are you sure that that footage isn't from another day or another city? Well, actually, there was one mainstream outlet that covered this, but they buried the lead. This is from NPR. This is how they chose to cover it. Understanding why some Iranian Americans support the war on their country of origin. Seriously, that is the headline. They could have covered this rally, this protest, any other way, but that was the spin that NPR chose to put on this. Now, let's take a closer look. This date, March 29, so it was today, published at 5:23 p.m. Eastern Time. Now, they buried the lead here. Protesters from the Iranian diaspora in the United States gathered in Washington, D.C. as the war in the Middle East broadens. Many say they're aligned with the U.S. and Israel and explain why they want to see regime change in Tehran. Had this been any other cause, had this been any other protest, such as the No Kings protest, they would have led with the number. They would have led with streets crowded, streets flooded, thousands of protesters. Yet here, they don't cover that in their headline. They know this. They know that most people don't take the time to click on an article and actually read it. They know that most people get their news based on the headline, based on the preview when it shows up on Facebook or whatever social media site you're on. So this is definitely intentional to cover the energy that's happening on the right side of the aisle here. Now, what's really interesting about all of this is Washington, D.C., the establishment, the experts, they don't know who they want to back in Iran yet. They are throwing a lot of doubt on Reza Pahlavi, yet all of these protesters, all of these actual Persians, Iranian Americans, they are rallying around the exiled Crown Prince. Just take a look at these chants in front of the National Mall.
Hey, hey, ho, ho, the Islamic regime has to go!
Hey, hey, ho, ho, the Islamic regime has got to go!
Hey, hey, ho, ho!
Now, obviously, Iranians here in America, they don't necessarily speak for the people still living in Iran, but I imagine they still have family connections. And so it's just interesting. We'll see how the power dynamics, the power vacuum ends up playing out. But it's clear that Reza Pahlavi does have a lot of support here in the States. And this was really clear at CPAC. So you might not have heard a lot about CPAC this year. Usually CPAC is just a huge event, huge speakers. President Trump has gone many, many times before, but this year President Trump actually didn't show up. And there was a lot of chatter about attendance being down at CPAC. A lot of leftists and liberals were making fun at the empty seats. But it was really astonishing to me that at CPAC, one of the largest crowds, if not the largest crowds, was actually for Reza Pahlavi, the exiled Iranian Crown Prince. And just take a look at the reception he got at CPAC. Now, isn't that interesting? CPAC, if you're not familiar, stands for the Conservative Political Action Committee. I was told by the media, I was told by the Democrats that, oh, Republicans, conservatives, they're all racist. They're all white supremacists. Yet here they are standing up cheering. It was a packed room for the exiled Crown Prince, Reza Pahlavi. You saw it right there. Compare that to one of the other speakers immediately right after him. Here you can see someone is on stage and the room is just empty. All of these empty seats, empty rows. That's why the media, the Democrats, were making fun of CPAC this year. Oh, it was low energy. It was depressed turnout. No one showed up. But they went to the wrong events. We saw huge turnout for Reza Pahlavi, also Benny Johnson. There were several speakers who were able to pack out that room, but it's really difficult, of course, to pack out the room every single speaker because they also have smaller rooms, smaller breakout sessions, and different panels happening at the same time. So it's just something that the media, they don't give context to what they cover here. But again, it's really interesting because we're being told, we're being spoon-fed this narrative that what's happening in Iran is super unpopular. Oh, just look at the polling. No one supports this. Even conservatives and MAGA, they're turning on President Trump. Yet here you see at CPAC, there was huge ovation, just a ton of energy around the exiled Crown Prince. Now, riddle me this. If what's happening in the Middle East, if what's happening in Iran is so unpopular, even among traditional Republicans, then why was there that sort of reaction, that sort of reception at CPAC? Seriously, CPAC is the grassroots. CPAC is supposedly where the energy, where the base is. And we saw the most energy for Reza Pahlavi. Of course, we shouldn't be surprised that the mainstream media is refusing to cover this because it totally goes against what they've been trying to push on us the last few weeks. It completely debunks the narrative that they've been trying to spin up and gin up. But what's really alarming is where the Democrats are right now. So Don Lemon appeared on Gavin Newsom's show, and he actually said the quiet part out loud of what the Democrats believe. He believes that the United States is actually no better than Iran. Yeah. That's what he said. And what's even more alarming than him actually saying that out loud is Gavin Newsom sitting there slightly smiling and nodding. And this guy wants to run for president.
Otherwise, we're no better than a country that we're at war with right now. And we're saying, that Iran shoots protesters. Well, so do we. And we're over there because Iran, jails reporters or, doesn't have free speech. And that makes us no better than them if we are acting and doing the very same things that they're doing. Then what sort of moral authority do we have to be able to be there and, in a war and quite frankly, killing people?
So he's clearly alluding to what happened in Minneapolis. But Renee Good was attempting to run over an ICE officer. Had that road not been icy, had it not been slick, she actually would have probably ran him over completely, his body completely beneath her car. He obviously was hit, and that's why he ended up shooting at her. And Alex Preddy, look, I made my thoughts known about what happened at that time, but it's really clear he was doing stupid things. He was trying to agitate. He was getting in their way. And so what happened in those two instances is you had people, you had rioters, you had activists interfering with law enforcement. Compare that to Iran, where 41,000 Iranians were gunned down in the streets for simply exercising free speech, for simply protesting. These are not the same thing. These are not equatable. So for Don Lemon to say that the United States shoots down protesters the same way that Iran shot down 41,000, it's just absolutely sick. And for Gavin Newsom to not push back, for him to just sit there, is absolutely disgusting. I think it disqualifies him from being president of the United States. If that's what you actually think about the country, go back, sit down, go back to school, learn your history, learn about what's actually going on. It's really gross. And for Don Lemon to say, well, they jailed protesters over in Iran and we're no better, we're doing the same thing over here. Don Lemon, are you in jail? No, you're not in jail. Guess what? You were being investigated for breaking the law in Minneapolis, or potentially breaking the law, crossing state lines. You knew what was going to happen. I mean, this case obviously is going to be tried, it's going to be adjudicated and whatnot, but for him to say that he's currently in jail, being tortured, that's what happens to reporters in Iran. That's what actually happens in these terrorist regimes. Come on, Don Lemon. You can't possibly think that the rest of us are that stupid. Now, speaking of stupid, there was this feminist liberal who decided to counter-protest the pro-Trump, pro-Iranian regime change rally in Washington, D.C., and boy, oh boy, she got an earful from an actual Iranian American. But before we get to that, I would like to acknowledge the members of today's Governor's Club. They are Steve Glamuzina, RL1401, Bob, that was very generous, thank you so much, and Bob Paul. These are people who give tips and super thanks to the channel. I am so glad that you enjoy, and I'm glad that you're here. Well, come on, feminist liberal attempting to school Iranians on what's going on. You can't make this up.
She's right. Iranians are asking for the bombs. Oh no, they are. I'm a journalist. I'm in contact with Iranian youth who are asking to be bombed. And you are standing here supporting a terrorist regime. What are you doing supporting a terrorist regime? Why are you supporting a terrorist regime? I understand bombing is bad. Convince me of what? Of rape? Of women not having no rights? I'm Iranian. I've been imprisoned by that regime. This has got nothing to do with Palestine. This is about a terrorist regime in my country. I can't even go to see my father's grave. I left as a refugee. You should think about it.
Really interesting, too, that this is happening in Washington, D.C., yet at the very bottom of the poster she's holding up, stopwar.org, .uk or whatever it was, a UK website. How is money coming from a United Kingdom organization to the States? Is this dark money? What is going on there? It just makes no sense. So here you saw all these clips from Washington, D.C. today. You saw them shouting, "Thank you, Trump," USA, pro-Reza Pahlavi slogans. You saw that high energy. So let's compare it to the No Kings protest in Washington, D.C. yesterday. And you tell me down in the comments below, which one looked like it had more energy? Which one looked like it had all the momentum and that it was more positive and more excited than the other protest? Now, look, I get that there were 3,000 protests all across the country, but as I reported on my video yesterday, and if you missed it, trust me, you'll want to check it out. I mean, the Democrats, they're trying to spin it, right? Oh, it doesn't matter the density of these protests. It doesn't matter that they're not as popular as they used to be. What really matters is the spread. What really matters is the total number of protests. Yet here yesterday, we had one singular protest. They made their voices heard on the National Mall. They passed by the Treasury Department. I guarantee that President Trump has heard about this. There's no way he hasn't. And so I think they made their voices heard. They made it loud. They made it clear. And to me, I mean, I don't know about you, but watching that clip earlier where they're chanting USA, thank you, Trump, I mean, it just made me proud to be an American. We've seen so much over the years, whether it's the Iraq War, Afghanistan. Who would have ever thought that people from the Middle East would be so proud to be American, would be thanking an American president for doing what he's doing in the Middle East? It just really is something to behold. As always, though, all of this is just my analysis and commentary. That's what's happening in the world of politics from my point of view, and I would love to hear from you. So what do you think? Which protest had the most energy? Which one looks like it has all the momentum? Obviously, I'm biased, and I think it's what happened today, the pro-Iranian protest or pro-Iranian regime change. But if you see it differently, if I'm delusional, let me know. You can call me out in the comments down below. I won't be offended. So yeah, let me know which one had the most momentum, most excitement. If you haven't already, be sure to leave me a thumbs up. I know it's a simple thing to ask for, but it really does help me reach more viewers like you in the algorithm. Be sure to smash that subscribe button and to check out one of these videos.